Now, to my surprise, this is actually probably one of the most highly requested Crown Victoria oriented videos ever. Of course, right under Project White Lightning. If you guys don't know what Project White Lightning is, I suggest you start browsing my channel and look up Project White Lightning. I'm gonna make this video super easy. Anybody will be able to follow these steps. And of course, I'm talking about how to change the oil on your Ford Crown Victoria in only 3 easy steps. Step number 1, drain. Step number 2, replace. Step number 3, refill. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, as you guys can see, I have these plastic car ramps. This is actually going to help bring the Crown Victoria a little bit higher to make the job a little bit easier. I used to do this back in the day with car jacks. Anybody can do it with car jacks. Like I said, it's just a lot easier and faster to do it with these car ramps. Now, obviously, there's better quality and better car ramps out there, but I got the cheap ones to get the job done. All right, so there we go. The Crown Vic is finally up on the plastic ramps. Now, the reason they're so cheap is because, remember, these things are going to keep sliding back. So what I do was I put 2 sandbags there, and that was enough to actually hold it from sliding forward. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get under the hood and go for step number 1. And that is going to be to drain. Now, first of all, we need some sort of container to hold all of that oil that's going to fall from the oil pan in here. So this is what I use. I like to use this because it collects all the oil. I cap it back off. It turns into a container, and then I take it to my local shop where they recycle the oil. Another thing you're going to need is a pair of gloves as well. You do not want oil making contact with your skin. And once we have our drain container ready to go, the next step is to get under the car. So let's go ahead and slide right in. So what we're going to do is locate our oil pan right here. That is where it is, right there. And you guys see that little plug? That is actually the plug that holds all the oil together. What we're going to do is use a socket wrench to loosen that plug up and let all the oil drain into our pan. Now, when unscrewing the plug, you're going to want to be careful because the oil might shoot out in an unpredictable way. So you don't want it getting all over you. Now the last step is to hand unscrew that plug because you don't want it to fall, oh, there we go, into your oil pan. There we go. Now all we got to do is let it drain, and we'll be back for step number 2. And now we're going to move on to step number 2, and that is replace. As you guys can see, we're going to be replacing the oil filter, and that's exactly where it's located. There you go. It usually has a cylindrical kind of shape to it, and it's usually either yellow, white, or blue. It could be any one of those colors. Now, if you see, I repositioned my oil drain pan here because like I said, this is one of the messiest parts and one of the most annoying parts, believe it or not. Once you remove that filter, which can be a little hard to remove, especially with your bare hands, it's going to drain some oil, and that's what we got our pan there for. So let's go ahead and unscrew. We're going to unscrew it, remember, going to the left. So let's go ahead and get to that. Now, they do make tools to make this a little bit easier to unscrew, but if you have the grip of the Hulk himself like I do, then it shouldn't really be an issue. Here we go. Just keep unscrewing it, watch it drain. It is highly recommended you do this after your car has been cooled down for a couple hours because the oil that comes out of here is extremely hot. There we go. And then we're just gonna pull it right out from this hole, and it's just gonna slide right out like so. Position our pan so it can finish draining, and now let's go ahead and replace this. Now, when replacing your oil filter, especially for the Crown Victoria, I only use Motorcraft, and it's the FL820S with the number of F1AZ. Now, that's pretty much the best kind of oil filter, and it's the recommended oil filter to use specifically for the Ford Crown Victoria. Now, this next step is relatively easy. All you do is remove your brand new filter from its box. You put the old one back in the box where the new one came in. You seal it back up. And now for our next step is you grab your oil. I like to use regular conventional oil, although it's highly recommended you use full synthetic oil, but I'm very, very old school, so I still use this conventional oil. If you use conventional oil, make sure it's 5W20. I use Valvoline, you can use any other brand. Now, this next step is very crucial as well. You're gonna take your 1 quart, pour enough oil in there to where it gets to there. Actually, a little bit higher than there is fine, just a little bit under halfway. Now, another thing that I like to do is, I like to get a little bit of oil on my finger, and what we're gonna do is lubricate that O-ring, like so. I just like to lubricate this entire area really good, because it actually does make a huge difference if you do this. And now the next step is to put the new filter right back where the old one used to be, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that. Alright guys, then it wouldn't be a Mr. Random Videos without Zoe, without the cat. You already know, man, she loves just chilling while I do stuff on the cars. Look at her, she's just laying down. It's all good. Either way, what we're going to do is, our oil filter right there is going to go right here. You guys see? Hopefully the camera picks it up. You can see like a little place where you can kind of screw it in. That's where we're gonna place it. Now this part can be a little tricky because remember, you already filled your filter with oil. And you just screw it right back in. There we go. All right guys, and our last step is gonna be to refill. All you gotta do, now you see even your oil cap actually says 5W20. You can't go wrong with that, guys. We're going to open our oil cap right here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to place a funnel right inside just to make pouring this thing a little bit easier. Now what this takes is 5.5 quarts. Like I said, I'm using conventional oil, and we're going to put all 5 quarts. And remember, the other half is going to come from the little half quart that we have. Remember, we put the other half in the fuel filter, so it works out perfectly. And we're just going to pour the whole thing in there. And then all we have to do is close our oil cap, put it back on, like so. And now for the last step, you want to make sure that you have the right amount of oil in your car. So we're going to come right here to our oil dipstick. There it is. We're going to pull it out, and we're going to clean it off the first time. And once we cleaned it off, we're going to put it back in, and we're going to take it back, and we're going to take it back out. And now we're going to check our oil level. It needs to be right on the hashtag, and look at that, exactly where it needs to be. So we had a successful oil change. All right, and there you have it, guys. You guys have now completed your very own Crown Victoria oil change in only 3 easy steps. Again, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Keep an eye out for some Project White Lightning videos, guys. I'm telling you, it's coming. I know I've been saying this for a while, but it's coming. And I have another surprise coming as well. Either way, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take it easy.